The war may have ended, but peace is a fragile illusion. And Rimuru walks straight into a day layered with politics, pressure, and the kind of emotional landmines no battlefield could ever prepare him for. He enters the staging room quietly, almost cautiously, as if the air itself might shatter. Benimaru, Rigurd, Shion, Diablo, Testarossa, each of them holds the room with a presence sharpened by instinct. On the opposite side, Masayuki's delegation mirrors that weight. Caligulio, Minitz, Bernie, Jiwoo, and Velgrynd, the living embodiment of dignity sharpened into a blade. The war is over, but the Empire is leaderless now. Michael gone, Feldway missing, Kondo dead. And with over 700,000 Imperial soldiers temporarily under Rimuru's stewardship, every breath he takes feels like a step on thin ice. That's where the hook tightens. Because Rimuru doesn't walk in as a conqueror, he walks in as a negotiator, a reluctant leader trying to shape order out of chaos. Even he catches himself planning logistics, dividing labor, assigning tasks before stopping. He can't jump ahead. The summit hasn't even begun. Then Velgrynd enters, and suddenly the room's temperature changes. Her blue hair glides like flame in reverse, cold, majestic, lethal. Rimuru's reaction is embarrassingly human. He thinks when her gaze hits him, it's not fear, it's pressure. The presence of someone who once waged war across worlds simply by existing. She asks him softly, "Do you think I could have some time with you?" And that's the first loop. Because those words don't sound like a former enemy. They sound like someone approaching him with something far heavier than hostility. Away from the crowd, Velgrynd is almost unrecognizable. Not the tyrant of flame, not the unstoppable marshal, but a sister. Worried, relieved, even awkward as she asks about Veldora. Rimuru can practically see the softness beneath the steel when she sighs, "I'm glad Veldora is doing well." Then she says the one thing Rimuru never expected, "I wanted to thank you." He panics internally because he has no idea how to handle gratitude from a true dragon. So she jabs him with humor, asking if he thought she wanted to drag him behind the school for a fight. It's teasing, almost playful. A strange intimacy for two beings who once clashed as enemies. And the truth spills out. Velgrynd's journey to find Ludora wasn't a heroic adventure. It was a grueling odyssey through world after world, even the one Rimuru died in. She tells him her experiences were exciting, but anyone with a heart can hear the exhaustion hidden inside. And then the revelation lands. Masayuki is Ludora reborn, his soul intact, his memories scattered. Rimuru studies the boy, his awkwardness, his fear, his reluctant heroism, and feels the relief wash over him. He hasn't lost Masayuki to some imperial destiny. The same timid kid is still there. Velgrynd, though, has changed the most. She speaks with a clarity that feels earned through suffering. Brief moments she calls dreamlike, deeper than even my time with Ludora. She credits Rimuru for giving her the chance to stand in this new place, to feel something like peace. And then she gives him something no one expected, allegiance. She promises never to be his enemy. Not as long as Masayuki doesn't choose hostility. The warmth dissolves instantly when she sharpens her gaze and warns him, don't betray him. Rimuru doesn't even attempt humor. One icy look from her makes him abandon every thought of white lies and vow loyalty with a seriousness that surprises even him. That was the payoff. Velgrynd isn't a threat anymore. She's an ally, one who understands the weight of loss and trust more than anyone in the room. Rimuru barely gets a moment to breathe before Vester explodes into the chamber with emergency news. King Gazel is already on his way to Tempest. No warning, no invitation, just movement. And that is catastrophic timing. Vester explains his fear. His involvement with Tempest might look like betrayal back in Dwargon. His family moved, personnel transferred. He's deep in Rimuru's orbit, and Gazel's trust in him is flagging as of late. A king's visit without notice is an accusation dressed as diplomacy. Rimuru heads to the border with Shion and Diablo, meeting Gazel in a cleared-out cafe, where the Dwarven king drops every royal facade and asks the one question he should never have needed to ask. Are you planning to ally with the Empire against us? Rimuru snaps back. Why do you think I'm such an idiot that you felt the need to ask that? And for the first time since the war ended, Gazel actually relaxes. Their discussion becomes a masterclass in power politics. Gazel reveals the fear that drove him here. If Tempest and the Empire form an alliance, Dwargon becomes trapped, squeezed between two giants. His explanation cuts deep. Alliances without time limits can be broken easily, but alliances with limits carry weight. Breaking them damages trust, and trust is the only currency Rimuru's nation is built on. With CL whispering clarity into Rimuru's mind, he agrees. Any future pact with the Empire will be written carefully, safeguarding Dwargon's future. Only then does Gazel ease his posture, allowing the king to return with Rimuru to the hall where three nations will decide the future. The summit begins. A circular chamber, a table shaped like a Landolt's sea, symbolic, intentional, showing unity instead of confrontation. Rimuru sits at the true north position. His old life flickers in his mind. An office worker who never even met a diet member now sits presiding over dragons and kings. Tensura opens with icy grace. I'd like everyone to avoid belligerent behavior. But peace is an illusion. Pressure leaks through the cracks. As Rimuru recounts the events, Velgryn's defeat, Michael's manipulation, Ludora's deception, the room fractures. Gazel is the first to break composure, slamming disbelief onto the floor between them when he asks how Rimuru could have defeated Velgrynd. Then she confirms it herself. I was defeated by him. Shock detonates across the chamber. Soldiers mutter. Commanders shake. Even the Empire's hardened veterans look lost. Shion's jealousy flares. Diablo's grin is venomous delight. The room teeters on chaos. Tensura reclaims control as if snapping chains into place. Rimuru attempts to continue, but Gazel interrupts again, this time with fear, not pride. The idea that a skill could override a true dragon shakes him more than any battle. How would we ever accept that a skill powerful enough to control Lady Velgrynd exists among us? The room spirals into existential dread, but the loop shifts again when the Empire formally declares unconditional surrender. The real shock arrives when they name their candidate for Emperor, Masayuki. Rimuru barely has time to process before Velgrynd invokes imperial law. Her words are final. The person so named by Velgrynd, protector dragon of the Empire, is Ludora. Silence crushes every objection. Masayuki's question, "Do you think it's fine?" is swallowed by Velgrynd's quiet but absolute certainty. Rimuru and Masayuki drift naturally into their shared earnestness, promising to build a world where we all can smile and live together. Their sincerity is so blinding that Gazel almost collapses under the weight of their naive idealism. But naive or not, it's powerful. By the end, Rimuru agrees to release prisoners. No punitive measures. No vengeance, just rebuilding. Gazel pledges support despite his reservations. Jane reminds him that guiding idealistic rulers is the duty of wiser ones. And history records this moment as the birth of Savior Emperor Masayuki Ludora Nam-ul Nazca, a boy who never wanted the throne, lifted into it by trust, destiny, and the quiet faith of those around him.